He had so much fun, he thought he'd stick around. He's Rob Rossi for the Pittsburgh City paper, also hockey extraordinaire analyst around the country, particularly in Canada. Drew Springsteen, I'm Justin LeVar. All right, more heel turns.
Oh yeah.
We've had more than a week of this one, Juice.
Yep.
You can't tell me to wait for the big picture on this one,
Right.
because this one's out there, and it stinks right now.
I don't think it's that bad.
Well, actually, it's not as bad as what the Braun thing was. I'm a big fan of Becky Lynch. I think we're all fans of Becky Lynch. She ends up turning on Charlotte, and from SummerSlam, New York crowd, into Toronto this past week, so far they're not buying it. Everybody wants to boo Charlotte, who's continually got, I mean, she's had it, if you count all of her titles, if you count between the Divas title, SmackDown Women's, and Raw Women's, she's had 7 titles.
That's
7
crazy.
world titles in like, a 3-year span?
Well, she's a Flair. What do you expect?
They're trying to get to that 16
She'll
quickly.
get it. She'll get it.
And you have Becky.
Becky's her Sting.
You know, and look, and I've seen a lot of, I don't know if you agree with this. We haven't talked about this yet. I've seen a lot of the.
Whoa. Oh.
Wait, what'd you say?
Becky's a much better worker.
than Sting.
She could probably memorize spots better.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
You know, I've seen a lot of comparisons of like the Stone Cold Becky Lynch. I think Bubba Ray Dudley even said it. And I mean, maybe I could buy that if more time goes by, but I hated the thing they did right off the bat, which was have her go out and cut a promo, bashing the fans, saying that they've made her an afterthought, because no, they haven't. They supported her for a win streak all through summertime. I don't know what the point of this is.
Well, I actually think they've already sort of switched gears on this one, Justin. I think when you look at it, what she did on this most recent SmackDown, there's a little bit of elements of her heel, but I think at this point, the WWE is sort of going, we're going to let the fans go in whatever direction they want to here. It's clear to me that though everybody, including Charlotte, seems to prefer Charlotte as a heel,
Yes.
WWE doesn't want her. And I get that. They don't want her as a heel right now. She's arguably
She's the second most mainstream female attraction behind Ronda Rousey.
Well, I think you can make a case that if you think of it just in the wrestling community, right? Charlotte is a foundational face of that company right now. She's not as somebody that came from another sports entertainment realm, not someone that comes from the outside. So they don't want her as a heel when she's carrying a prestigious belt. But people want to cheer Becky. So I think they've said, look, this isn't going to work the way we want. We're going to let them decide. But it's not a Stone Cold thing.
Well, I'll say, I don't know. I think it slightly parallels how Stone Cold was portrayed. He was portrayed as a heel, but then the fans start to grow to like him. Right. And as soon as Becky did her heel turn, and even though she cut a promo against the fans, they're still rallying behind her. So I think there is going to be that gray area of we're going to let her do whatever. And it's better that they do that with her than they're doing with Braun. They're putting him with a faction, it would seem now.
Well,
and it's like Becky, I think, almost better off with his fans. Kind of.
What'll be interesting to me, though, is don't we all think they're going to eventually go with this 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen angle? And you're going to have to get these two.
It seems to be the inevitable.
Back on the same page.
Once all the 4 horsewomen from the MMA world all are trained enough to do.
How do you get these two back on the same page if they're going to have a blood feud? And I guess the other thing is what Becky's doing is behaving like a heel, but when you think of Austin, he broke every rule. He was completely anti-authority. He wasn't trying to cater to children or anything. Like, Becky's still, for the most part, other than being a little jealous.
Hey, maybe she'll slap Paige in the face, and there you go.
Isn't her beef with Paige, though, not Charlotte? Isn't that, to me, the beef with Becky? That's her beef. It's with Paige, not Charlotte.
Well, there you go. Anti-establishment. There you go. Parallel more Stone Cold than you thought.
Paige is the establishment, then we're all doomed.
What's her problem with Paige being the establishment?
Well, she's just...
She was established as good establishment.
She's
What's
not
the matter,
established.
baby boy? You
She's
don't like
not,
Paige?
No, I love Paige. I'm just saying she's not establishment. I mean, she's as anti-establishment as anybody. She works better as a heel. So we're going to have a heel versus a heel? I mean, WWE, that might work.
Well, Paige is, as long as Paige is an authority figure for right now, she's going to be a babyface authority figure. I'll say this about the Becky Lynch thing. I'm happy if this is what it takes to get her into the main event title picture, then okay, I get that. I guess I just kind of figured, okay, like even when Charlotte won at SummerSlam and I wanted Becky, I was okay with it because I said, okay, they want Charlotte and Ronda to be the 2 title holders as we push towards the Evolution show. I get it, but I figured it'd be a heel Charlotte. You know, I just didn't expect the heel antics from Becky Lynch. Now again, if this smooths out to where it's just Becky just doing Becky, and we shy away from
and I would say that's probably going to happen.
Promos, then okay.
That's more apt to happen.
I will say this too, from a business standpoint, gentlemen. They got this new television deal. They got these 2 new television deals, right? Right now you have Ronda Rousey and Charlotte, and they haven't really done a great job of establishing who's sort of the number 3 in that. Like, who is the firm number 3? if you're going to have more than just a one-off all-female pay-per-view, if you're ever going to have a network special of all-female, you have to start building beyond just Ronda and Charlotte.
Yeah, maybe this is what this is with Becky.
This elevates Becky, and I would argue this should have been Asuka's role. Like Asuka in this scenario would have been better for this, but then you could have had gasp 4 women in the company that.
And it's interesting because Asuka was only based off of her streak, and now it seems like she's almost lost in the whole thing.
She's still in the company?
But see, now you elevate Becky, however you got to get there, whether it's face or heel, or however the fans are going to perceive her, I think it's better that she could be at least someone contending as that number 3. You want to have as many people in that role as you can.
Well, is Asuka still in the company, though? Somebody answer it?
I
don't know.
We'll find out. Maybe she's who helps Naomi with the Iconics. I don't know. I mean, fighting for number 3, you could say you have Alexa Bliss. You could say you have.
I would say Alexa Bliss is probably
Alexa Bliss
number 3
right
for sure.
Now, just from track record. But let's not forget, you have fighting for the number 3 and 3.5 is the Bella Twins, who are now back on both shows.
God, I don't even know.
They should be the G.
I really hope it's not Nikki and Ronda at this.
But all of a sudden, Nikki's best friends with Ronda.
Handing her the belt, here you go, and raising her arm. Come on.
Here's what,
They treated Ronda like Lex Luger in '93. It was awful. It was cringy.
They're about as good on the mic.
Yeah.
You know what?
You think Ronda could slam Yokozuna?
I'm not gonna.
Probably.
I'm not gonna.
Wouldn't be a hip lock.
I'm not gonna put it past Vince. I'm not gonna put it past Vince if he thinks this is the evolution of the women. So what better way to illustrate the evolution than to have Nikki Bella, who went through all the Divas years, and she's now part of this, up against the new MMA
Such
badass.
A storied veteran, Nikki Bella.
But I'm saying, but you tell me you can't see him justifying
that's exactly.
That. So
you're right.
We're gonna get to a point where Ronda's first loss is to a Bella.
Maybe, because she's such a.
She's gonna lose to a Bella, but you know, really, I'm making fun a little bit of Vince's logic, but really, my logic wasn't much different. I just wanted Natty in the spot. I just wanted it to be Natty who went through all the Diva years.
Can we tape the tape where it says his and Vince's logic is not much different? Because we've all been saying that about him for years.
That's true.
Hey, if that's the logic that gets $1 billion, then sign me up.
The wallet's not the same. It's just the logic.
Yeah, sign me up. The ties, the wallet, I'm all for it.
The no hair, even though he's like 70.
And the physique. Chair Shot Rally, Wrestling Inc. Binge watch the playlist. We got more to come, including, we're going to talk and finish off the playlist, Bray Wyatt. There's a report that he is going to have a little tweak to his character. What do we need to see out of Bray Wyatt? Does anybody want to see anything out of Bray Wyatt? We'll debate, discuss, do it all.